I'm going to try help you understand better how licensing works with Microsoft Power Platform. I will center the whole explanation on Power Apps and Power Automate, and of course, all the price information that and the names of the licenses that we see in this video are subject to change. They are only valid right now, 2024, at the date of this video, because Microsoft, for sure, they are going to change the names and prices in the future. Well, let's take a look at those. Let's start with Power Apps. All the prices that I'm going to show you, they are available in the public pages, so it's fully transparent from Microsoft. Of course, well, you'll see that some have a discount if you have a minimum of a certain number of licenses on your organization, but of course, depending on your size, you will be able to negotiate better prices. These are the publicly available prices for everyone. You may be able to negotiate better prices. All right, let's take a look. So, Power Apps Developer Plan. Don't get fixated in this one because this only works for developer environments. What are developer environments? Well, let's take a look. If you go to makethepowerapps.com and you change environments here, let's see here, you'll see that some environments have environment type developer. If you follow the steps, you will be able to create a developer environment in your organization, unless this has been disabled by the admins, because this can be controlled here in the environments in the Power Platform Admin Center. And here you will see, if you are an admin, how many developer environments you have. And what this licensed Power Apps developer plan enables anyone who has developer environments, up to 3 per person, is to enjoy all the premium capabilities inside that environment. Those environments are not designed or production ready. If you want to be able to use the Power Platform premium features everywhere in your organization, in all environments, then you will need this license. $20 per user per month. It's a complete bargain. Now, you probably have heard of some licenses that cost $5 per user per month. Let's take a look at the marketplace, because they are no longer listed in the public page, but here, Power Apps per app, here where I'm in the Microsoft Admin Center, I'm in Marketplace, and you can filter by Power Platform licenses. Okay, so if you have access to the environment at the Admin Center in your organization where you buy licenses, or maybe you have a partner that buys licenses for you, you will find these license that is not listed right now in the public page, and this is called Power Apps per app. And you see, well, for 70 euros, $5 per license per month. And now what this allows you is to enable a user in an environment. How does this work? Let's go back to here, environments. So I go to capacity, add-ons. I'm here, I already have one here. What I would do is select an environment, for example this one, and here I can add app passes. This is where I would add this license over here, and this enables a user inside that environment to use one app that has premium capabilities. Let's use some here in this presentation, a table that will allow you to understand this better. So if you have a Power Apps premium license, this one, don't worry, you can use premium capabilities everywhere. But if you want to have the cheaper version, the $5 version, why? Because maybe you don't want that user, or that user is not going to use more than this application. Maybe this is a proof of concept, but you are starting with Power Platform in your organization and you want to reduce licensing costs as much as possible, then you will use these licenses. And let's take a look at this table from the documentation. User 3, 2 apps in 2 different environments. I need 2 app passes. User 1, 1 environment, but 2 apps and 1 website. This is a portal for pages. Then I need 3. Easy enough. All right, now let's take a look at Power Automate licenses. And here we start with the Power Automate premium license, $5 per month per user. And this is the equivalent to Power Apps Premium per user. Take a look here, more or less, well, AI builders, credits change. But basically, this is the equivalent to using the premium capabilities for Power Automate. Now, with the Power Apps license, you can also create Power Automate flows. They're supposed to be linked to the applications that you built, but you can create Power Automate flows. Anyway, that's why also it has a higher price. Now, here we introduce a new concept, okay? Let me jump to the slides, and it's a very obvious slide. Let's take a look. Power Automate licenses have a different concept. We have user licenses and capacity licenses. Okay, user licenses have Power Automate Premium, Power Automate Trial, Power Automate Premium in the end. And capacity licenses have this Power Automate Process and Hosted Process. In other words, or better said, this one is user-based and these two are capacity-based. What does that mean? Well, capacity licenses are the same as what we saw for these Power Apps per app. They are not assigned to a user, rather they are assigned to an environment. So we would, and you guessed that, you would add it here from the environment center, add-ons, capacity, here for flow per business process. This is where you would add a license for the environment. Now, the difference between these two is that this also gives you access to a Microsoft hosted virtual machine for desktop flows. If you are not going to use desktop flows, then don't worry about that. Important to notice here, don't get fooled by what it says Power Automate Process. This doesn't mean that it only allows you to use one single flow. The concept of a process is, let's say, wider than the concept of a flow. Let's use the term solution maybe. So let's say all the flows owned by the same service principal will, or service account will be licensed with this capacity license. So it's not one Power Automate flow, it's the flows owned by a service principal or service user. And well, you'll tell me, why would I get a license that is 10 times higher, it's more expensive than this one? And now this is when we need to talk about capacity limits or request limits in the Power Platform. Okay, limits in the platform. Well, we have two types of limits that I like to talk about: license limits and platform-specific limits. Platform-specific limits, I don't want to talk too much about that, but for example, if we take Microsoft Dataverse or SharePoint, there's a limit, a protection limit in the service, in the platform. For example, how many requests, API requests, we can drive again or make against one of these services. For example, Dataverse, I believe it is 36,000 requests in a 5-minute sliding window. For SharePoint, different limits. That depends on where you are going to connect, and if it's a different service, maybe for example SAP, it will have different limits, whether it's on the cloud or on premise. So that's normal. Every technology has its limits, but we are going to talk about licensing limits, and this is a little bit different. So take a look at this table from the documentation and pay attention to this column. Forget about this one. This is from when Microsoft is enforcing this new model. They are give you a transition period, a grace period, where they are give you more slack with the numbers. So don't pay attention to this column. Pay attention to this one over here. And take a look. Power Automate Premium, Power Automate Process. 40K, 250K per license per binge for 24 hours. What's this about? Well, every action, if you have a Power Automate flow, every box in it, it's a PPR. PPR stands for Power Platform Request. And just count every execution of the flow per boxes. It's what you are consuming when that flow is executed. Now, if you start having lots and lots of flows with deployed with the same account or with the same license, you can fill up this limit pretty quickly. Also, you have to take into account how are you building those flows. If you are using, for example, with Dataverse, create multiple, or you are in a for creating one by one the rows. So also depending on how well you build or you architect your solutions, you impact these license limits. So if you have a solution that is going to be highly used and is critical in your organization, then you should use this license, because it will allow you to have a wider limit of Power Platform requests per 24 hours. And these licenses can be stacked one over the other. So if the more you need, the more licenses you need to buy. Now, before finishing the video, a couple of comments about the Power Platform Licensing Guide. It's a public document that you can find, just Google it, and you will get the latest version because Microsoft is constantly updating this document. Now, before finishing the video, I want to talk briefly about the Power Platform Licensing Guide. This document is publicly available from Microsoft Links. You can just Google it out, Power Platform Licensing Guide. This is the 2024 version, July 2024. Get the latest version always to get the latest information. Now here you can go real deep into all the topics, all the things that we've seen. Some of the snapshots that I've taken are from the licensing guide. I recommend that you take a deeper look if you want to understand fully the license topics. But I want to just step for a moment in AI Builder, because here, wait a second, yeah, exactly here. Some clients have asked me a lot about how AI Builder licensing works, and they were astonished that they actually renew every month. So all the credits that you have renew on a monthly basis. If you spend them, the next first day of the next month, you will have those credits again for you to consume. And this is obvious when you understand how licensing works, because in the end, these licenses are allowing you to use compute power. Compute power in any Azure subscription. In the end, this is a monthly recurrent bill that Microsoft is going to charge you, and those resources, when you pay the license every month, then you are renewing the rights to use that amount of compute power. And so AI Builder credits, because you pay them every month, you get that new capacity every month as well. And then please use AI Builder. You're going to reap a lot of benefits out of it. That massively exceeds the amount of money that you are going to spend. And well, that's that. So thank you very much for reaching to the end. I hope this video is useful and give you a little bit more understanding on the licensing options that you have with Microsoft. Bear in mind also Dynamics, you may be overlapping with the licenses. You need to take a look. Maybe, for example, if you have a Dynamics license, then you don't need to assign a Power Apps premium license depending on the one that you are using. For example, Sales Professional is not the same as Enterprise, and thus maybe Sales Professional also needs a Power Premium license for a new custom solution that you are providing to that user. So of course, you need to take a look case by case, but generally this video has covered how licensing works on a broad level and some real nuances as well, especially on the capacity limits. Thank you very much, take care, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Bye.